Capture the excitement of your favorite high school tournament.
On behalf of the Commissioner and Board of Control, welcome to this state basketball tournament game in Division III between Haviland Wayne Trace High School and Akron St. Vincent St. Mary High School. The athletes playing here today are friendly rivals as members of opposing teams. The officials assigned to this game have been selected by the head basketball coaches in Ohio through a system approved by the Board of Control. The officials for this game: Wayne Roller, with 24 years of basketball officiating experience and 19 years of tournament experience. Jerry Collins, with 35 years of basketball officiating experience and 30 years of tournament experience. David Dobbenmeyer, with 21 years of basketball officiating experience and 17 years of tournament experience. The athletes, coaches, and officials are guests of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. We are requested to so regard them and to so treat them in keeping with the ideals of good sportsmanship. Now introducing the coaches, the head coach of Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, Keith Dambrot. The head coach of Wayne Trace, Al Welch. The assistant coaches of Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, Drew Joyce, Steve Culp, and Lee Cotton. The assistant coaches for Wayne Trace, Tim Clemens, Jim Linder, and Craig Miller. Now the cheerleading squad for St. Vincent St. Mary: Courtney Kellett, Jacqueline Scarborough, Alexis Pope, Kelly Langenbeck, Moira Finley, Jen Cole, Christy Sullivan, Marlia Cavalier. Their advisor is Denise Bowen. Now the cheerleading squad for Wayne Trace: Rachel Carter, Callie Kloffenstein, Lindsay Miller, Chelsea Scarborough, Joni Sin, Ashley Showalter, Janelle Taylor, Lauren Treese. Their advisor is Jamie Miller. Now the squad members for both teams, introducing them alternately. For St. Vincent St. Mary, number 5, William McWayne. For Wayne Trace, number 10, Thomas Farrell. For the Fighting Irish, number 20, Willie McGee. For the Raiders, number 22, Jake Davis. For St. Vincent St. Mary, number 21, Germany Johnson. For Wayne Trace, number 30, Jay Bidlack. For the Fighting Irish, number 22, Jamie Cavalier. For the Raiders, number 34, Sam Sophomore. For St. Vincent St. Mary, 24, Romeo Travis. For Wayne Trace, 42, Alan Leach-T. For St. Vincent St. Mary, number 25, Carlos May. For Wayne Trace, number 50, Brooks Reed. For the Fighting Irish, number 30, Brandon Weems. For the Raiders, number 52, Daniel Hernandez. For St. Vincent St. Mary, number 32, Lee Cotton. Number 40, Preston Sims. And number 42, Josh Cavalier. Now the starting lineups for St. Vincent St. Mary, number 3, Ali Samabali. For Wayne Trace, number 20, Gabe Denning. For the Fighting Irish, number 12, Drew Joyce. For the Raiders, number 24, Jake Sim. For St. Vincent St. Mary, number 23, LeBron James. For Wayne Trace, number 32, Mitch McClure. For the Fighting Irish, number 33, John Taylor. For the Raiders, number 40, Mike Hyman. For St. Vincent St. Mary, 34, Sheon Cotton. And for Wayne Trace, number 54, Chris Shepard.
Team in the white, and the Fighting Irish in their familiar green with the shoes that you only see, Mike, with St. V.
The mustard yellow. I'm not sure if they're good looking, but they are bright.
And LeBron James will get ready to jump center. He'll jump it against Chris Shepard. They'll put the ball in the air, and the tip will be controlled by St. V's. John Taylor with the basketball. Man-to-man defense played by Wayne Trace. Samabali lobs it inside, stolen away. A quick turnover, and Wayne Trace will have the basketball. Across the timeline, Denning. Denning into the left corner with the basketball. Puts it on the floor. Back out on top it comes to McClure. McClure right-hand dribble to the right corner. Stops his dribble. Brings it back out now to Denning. Gabe Denning spins on Taylor to the top of the circle. Backs it off. Tight man-to-man defense played by the Irish. And a 5-second count. And that will turn the basketball back over to St. V.
Obviously, Wayne Trace going to be very patient with the basketball. On the other end, defensively, you said they open up in man, and they did. Al Welch said they have been predominantly a man-to-man team, and it's tough to change despite who you're playing at this point in the season. So we'll probably see mostly man today as well.
Taylor on the attack for the #1 rated team in Ohio, the Irish. There's little Drew Joyce, the hero last year. LeBron James back out to Taylor. Right side Samabali for the three. No good. James gets the rebound on the left baseline. Goes into the paint, lays it up with the left hand and in. LeBron James the first 2 points, and here comes that press. In the backcourt, Shepard, and he is fouled, and that will be the first whistle for the ball game of a foul. And it's on LeBron James, his first.
Yeah, every time you get a made field goal from St. V, they're going to come with the press. They're going to try and deny the inbounds pass, and then after it comes in, probably look for a quick trap.
Can they get the ball up the floor? That is the thing that really is the edge that the Fighting Irish have. They do it with the pass to Denning. Denning pulls up right side, 15-footer, good. Gabe Denning, you mentioned it, Mike. He's a good shooter. We're tied at 2. Back the other way, Taylor. Left side to Samabali. Samabali out on top to Taylor. Taylor into the lane, drops it off underneath the Cotton. Missed the shot inside and rebounded by Wayne Trace. Quickly up the floor comes Denning. Between the circles, we're tied at 2 with 6:35 to go here in the first quarter. Into the lane with the basketball there is Sin, and he's called for traveling. Turn it back over to St. Vincent St. Mary.
I think maybe a little bit of intimidation factor inside. You get deep into the teeth of the defense and see a few trees in there, and Sin just wanted to pass the basketball and kind of lost the handle and turned it over.
Back the other way comes Taylor for St. V. Cross the timeline, bounces it sideline left to Cotton, up between the circles to LeBron James. Over to Taylor. Taylor right side up on top. Samabali straight down the guts of the defense for an arcing shot. No good. James tipped it in. LeBron James his 4th point on a tip in. It's 4-2 St. V. In the backcourt. Pressure applied. Breaking it on the dribble is Sin, and he's a whistle and a foul on Drew Joyce. Early, Mike. Wayne Trace acts like this press isn't bothering him at all.
Well, that's the thing about a press, too. You beat it 3 or 4 times, but then St. V is not going to back off. They will continue to press and try and commit the turnovers. Wayne Trace is doing a good job attacking it and also keeping their heads up, trying to look for guys open down the floor.
Jake Sin will trigger from midcourt for Wayne Trace. 4-2 St. V with 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. With the right-hand dribble, Denning. Denning attacking the left end of your radio dial. Top of the circle, brings it out to Sin on the right point. Covered up by Samabali. Fakes left, goes right, goes to the wing. Count is on, has to get rid of it. Back out to Denning. Denning will chase it. It was tipped into the backcourt, so no violation. Back the other way, Denning. Denning spins on Taylor. Into the dotted line. Left side, Shepard. Shot is way short. And James, the rebound for the Fighting Irish of St. V. He'll dribble himself across the timeline. Still has the ball. Into the lane on the run. Laid it up and in. A one-man show. It's 6-2 St. V, all LeBron.
Well, the thing about it is you got to stop the basketball no matter who it is. And Wayne Trace let James dribble basically end-to-end that time, and nobody got in front of him. And with the long reach and at 6'6", that wingspan, he's able to take off in the middle of the key and just lay it up with a finger roll.
Biggest crowd you've seen at Value City Arena.
I would agree.
In the backcourt, Sin covered up, needs help, double teamed, and there's the ball. No, it wasn't stolen, hit back to him. Back the other way, numbers now for Wayne Trace. Denning lobs it over to Shepard, fakes it, goes inside on Cotton, missed it, tip no good, and rebounded by Cotton to Taylor. Taylor up the sideline to LeBron James, into the lane, lays it up, missed it, and the rebound taken down by Shepard. That was maybe the easiest one James had that didn't drop. Underneath, open, the shot is laid up and good. Basket for Mike Hyman. It's now 6-4 St. V. Back the other way, Taylor across the timeline here at Ohio State's Value City Arena. Bounce pass right side to Drew Joyce. What a show he put on last year. Inside it goes to James at the dotted line. Reach in foul, and he will go, it'll be a non-shooting foul. Where do you put your money in these interesting economic times? Tom Brenner at Raymond James.
Wayne Trace foul number 40, Mike Hyman, his first, team's first.
Services 6'8", 2'7", 7'8".
Couple of early substitutions into the ball game for St. V. Willie McGee, a 6'3" sophomore, checks in, as does Romeo Travis. Travis at 6'6" and a sophomore, 11 points, 6 rebounds. His average is off the bench.
Out to James, way out near the hash mark, into the far corner. Samabali puts it in the air, good for 3. Samabali, the first to score other than LeBron James. It's now 9-4 St. V. Backcourt ball knocked out of bounds. It will stay with Wayne Trace. You look up at the scoreboard and you think you're playing them even, and you're down by 5. 4:27 left to play here in the first quarter. John Myers and Mike Breckenridge here on WQKT. Going to bring it up the floor. Some numbers with the basketball, lobbing underneath, and it laid up and good for Mike Hyman. Hyman caught it and laid it in. It's 9-6 Irish. Underneath the James, he does the same thing the other way. LeBron James catches and banks it home.
I'll tell you what, the pass was outstanding. James' follow was good, but the pass got him the hoop.
Denning up the left side to the left hash mark. Out between the circles to Sin, top of the wheel. Backs it off. 11-6. St. V leading Wayne Trace here with 4 minutes to go, first quarter. Hyman up on top to Denning. Denning slips it over to Sin into the far corner. And there's a whistle and a pushing foul called on St. V.
It's one of those where when you score on one end, you've got to get back defensively, because like most teams who want to get out and go, St. V will get it down the floor in a couple of passes and really attack the glass as Taylor checks back in after a quick rest and Samabali sits down for St. V.
The St. Vincent Fighting Irish, one loss this year. That was to Oak Hill, the #1 team in the nation, by 1 point. Into the lane, Shepard drops it over on the left side. Back into Shepard. Shepard into the paint. Outside for a three by Sin. It's good. Jake Sin bottoms it out. It's 11-9. The Irish lead to 2. Back the other way, Taylor. Taylor over to Drew Joyce. 7 for 7 in the state championship game last year for threes. Out front, long three to Taylor, no good. And the rebound taken down by Wayne Trace. 3:24 to go here in the first quarter. Trace can tie with a 2-point basket. Between the circles, Denning between the legs, dribbles into the lane, drops it off into the left corner, back out on top. Inside it goes to Shepard. Shepard will go up and miss it, but he's fouled, and he will go to the line to shoot 2.
Good patience down low by Wayne Trace that time. It's really the first time they got it inside, and a guy posted up you normally wouldn't think would be there was a guard, and they went a little pick high-low with Shepard. Shepard at 6'5", and also a big body. Really kind of backed down his man down into the middle, was able to pick up the foul on Willie McGee.
Shepard line left for Wayne Trace. Free throw up and good. 10 years ago, a state championship for Coach Al Welch. He's had a tremendous coaching career at Wayne Trace High School over in Haviland.
Shepard's been to the foul line a lot this year. 161 attempts coming into this ball game. He's hit 106 and hits the first one there. He's 66% for the season. As a team, Wayne Trace is 64% this year.
Wayne Trace doing a very good job also. They have limited Drew Joyce to no field goal attempts.
Well, that's the thing. Joyce at 5'5", it's really tough for him to create his own shot, and usually when you sag off on other defenders, that's when you find him open on the wing.
Shepard hits a free throw. Mark it down. We are tied at 11 with 3:03 to go here in the first quarter. Joyce open, 15-footer, missed it, and the rebound kicked around and taken down by Johnson, and they'll reset the offense for St. V. Over to Joyce, fakes the three. Samabali on the left side with the basketball. LeBron James sitting now. Late here in the first quarter. Drew Joyce between the circles. Over to Samabali on the left wing. Up on top to Taylor. Taylor right side. They work it into the corner to Joyce. Into Samabali, knocked out of bounds. It will stay with St. V. 2:40 to play here in the opening quarter. 11-11. We're tied, and LeBron James checking back into the game. More than just a score. He can pass, he rebounds, he defends, he handles the basketball. Drew Joyce will trigger it from his own end zone. Lobs it into James. James left, right of the key, brings it back out to Taylor on the left wing. Taylor to Joyce. Joyce straight inside to James, puts it up off the glass, no good, and the rebound taken down by Wayne Trace. Back the other way, Gabe Denning across the timeline. We're knotted at 11-11 here in the first quarter. Right side with the basketball in front of the St. V bench is Jake Sin. Fakes left, brings it back out now. With the basketball there is Jake Davis. Jake Davis on the right point with the right-hand dribble. Dribbles it, tries to get a screen, and brings it back out to Shepard, to Denning. Denning against Drew Joyce. Puts it on the floor, goes to the foul line, spins, lays it up, and missed it. And the rebound taken down by St. V's Taylor. Ahead to LeBron James. LeBron James to the basket, and he's fouled as he goes up for the shot.
Into the 2-minute mark of the first quarter.
LeBron James will be line right. 25.5 points a ball game for the player of the year in Ohio. Puts it in. First sophomore to ever win a major award in Ohio, be it football or basketball. He was also the Sporting News Sophomore of the Year in the nation. He's got 7 points, 9 points. And no, he doesn't hit the second free throw. Rebounded by Wayne Trace, but thrown away as they go up into the air and can't find a teammate, and it goes out of bounds back to the Irish.
Third turnover of the ball game on Wade Trace. That one kind of unforced. It's one of those where I think you're so concerned about boxing out. Suvar kind of just forgot about the basketball. It bounced off his hands and wasn't able to save it to a teammate.
John Taylor with 1:48 to go here in the first quarter. Samabali for a home run from the point, no good. Rebound kicked around and taken down by Wayne Trace. Good hustle by the basketball team from Haviland. Outside it goes, faking the three-point shot. for the Raiders is Denning. Gabe Denning between the circles, bounces it over on the left side. Looking inside, back out now to Deming. Minute 25 to go here in the first quarter. Left side, inside it goes, and a whistle and a Drew Joyce foul. There's that mismatch inside, Mike. If you can get him inside, you can hurt Drew on the defense.
Well, Jake Sinn's 6'3". Joyce is 5'6", and obviously ran him off a screen on the opposite side of the key and flashed him to the post, and Joyce can't handle him deep that far into the post. You're right, that's a tough mismatch, and Joyce will leave. Back into the lineup comes Romeo Travis.
24, Romeo Travis.
So Wayne Trace, Sin will bring it in from under his own basket, brings it way out front, caught there by Sam Suvar. Suvar to Sin on the hash mark on the left side, brings it back out on top. Suvar covered up there by Johnson, looks for a pick, doesn't get it, brings it inside to Sin, he loses it, turnover to James. James across the timeline, top of the circle, over to Taylor, and he walks. The turnover against St. V, and the basketball back over to the Raiders.
Probably the most common traveling call we always see when a guy gets the ball on the wing and wants to pump fake that shot before the drive and just forgets to put it on the floor. Turnover number 2 on St. V here in the first period.
Pressure applied. This press has not hurt Wayne Trace one bit so far here in the first quarter. The left corner, no shot there. Bring it back out. Denning, the left-hander, fires it good for 3. And they have the lead. Wayne Trace 14-12. Underneath the long pass to Johnson off his hand, and it's turned back over to Wayne Trace.
You know, St. V's done a good job for the most part of denying that three-point shot. Wayne Trace has only been able to take 2. We said they're a great three-point shooting team. They've taken 2, however, but they've hit 2. Denning hit that one. Sin hit 1 earlier in the period.
So Wayne Trace trying to keep St. V from scoring off the pressure. In the backcourt, new player into the basketball game, that's Jay Bidlack. Bidlack will bring it ahead to Denning, open top of the circle, over to Shepard in the left corner, right corner, back out now to Deming. Denning with the basketball, backs it off with 35 seconds now to go here in the first quarter. Wayne Trace leads St. V by 2. Out on top with the basketball, Bidlack. Bidlack goes on the right point, back on top now to Deming. Deming with the basketball, coming up on now 20 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Davis with the basketball, covered up by Johnson. Beats him now to the corner, and the ball's on the floor. It's almost stolen away. There's a whistle and a tie-up, and the alternating possession will stay with Wayne Trace with 12 seconds. Wayne Trace, 2-point lead, 14-12 here in the first quarter. And a substitution, Jake Sin will be coming into the ball game for Wayne Trace. Replacing Bidlack, Jay Bidlack will go out of the ball game for Coach Al Welch. Wayne Trace only 8 field goal attempts here in the first quarter compared to 13 for the Irish. Going to trigger it. Davis brings it out now to Denning. Denning with 10 seconds. Left side, the pass tipped out of bounds by LeBron James, and it will stay with Wayne Trace with 7 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Jake Sin will bring it in at the hash mark in the half court, brings it way back out on top to Denning. Denning across the timeline, 4 seconds, 3 seconds between the legs, has to get rid of the basketball, fires it up at the buzzer, no good, and that's the end of the first quarter. After 1 quarter, Wayne Trace over St. V by 2, 14-12.
For Wayne Trace in the first period, St. V turned it over 3 times.
St. V will have the ball to begin this second quarter, attacking the right end of your radio dial.
First time today we see Wayne Trace into a zone. They open up the period in a 2-3.
And they get a steal out front with the basketball. Jake Sin wheels to the basket, lays it up, no, but he's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, errant pass on top of the zone. Good anticipation by Sin, who took it the other way. Kind of got a break, but because on the drive, he went for the jump stop and the pump fake and almost got called for the travel, but instead they get the bump before that by John Taylor, and it sends Sin to the line.
Watching Wayne Trace, you can see why they've been able to run the table except for 1 game this year. You know, quality pre-owned cars, trucks, or vans, lease, rent, or buy from the #1 dealer in Seville, Max Gabbard. Open Monday and Thursday night until 9, or on the internet at gabbardcars.com. Free throw up and good by Jake Sin.
Wayne Trace did finish 7th in the poll statewide in Division III at the end of the season. And as we mentioned, Al Welch, their coach, 26 seasons for him at Wayne Trace High School, which is located in Paulding County, which is about, 25 miles southwest of the Defiance area.
Sin hits both free throws, and it's up to a 4-point lead, the biggest of the game at 16-12 for Wayne Trace over St. V. Drew Joyce on the left point, back out to Taylor. Taylor against the 2-3 zone. Right side to James. James up on top to Taylor. Taylor over to Drew Joyce. Joyce into the corner to James. Back out to Joyce. The ball's almost stolen away, but it'll be stepped on the sideline, and it will stay with St. V.
St. V's seen a lot of zones this year, as you would expect. Kind of waiting for maybe the James to sort of take the point on that zone, and that's where he's so effective. At 6'6", can see over the front line of that defense, and such a very good passer to find the open man.
Taylor to Joyce, back out to Taylor, over to James. James on the hash mark on the left side, puts it on the floor to Taylor. John Taylor between the rings, left-hand dribble to the left side. Into the far corner to James, back out on top to Taylor, over to Drew Joyce. There's the first three, bingo! Drew Joyce, that's 8 straight threes in the state tournament, counting last year. Back the other way we go, 16-15. Wayne Trace by a point. Out on top. Lob it inside to Shepard. Shepard on the block on the left side, brings it back out now. Denning beats his man, brings it back out to Sin. 23-footer, no, it's short. Bounds into the corner, out of bounds, and it will be St. V's basketball. 6:46 left to play till intermission. Ron Hamilton will have the halftime news. Wayne Trace by a point, 16-15.
Substitution is Samabali checks back in, and Taylor leaves for St. V. St. V here early in the ball game has hit 2 of 5 outside the arc. For Wayne Trace, they have connected on 2 out of 4.
Joyce across the timeline with the pass over to Travis. Back out on top now, bounce it inside. It's going to be Travis from the dotted line, about 8-footer, and he hit it. And St. V, the first 2 for Travis. It's 17-16. St. V back on top by a point. Pass ins to Sin. Sin doubled up, gets it in the corner, needs some help. They lob it up to Shepard. Shepard is going to step out of bounds, and it will be a turnover. And that's the first turnover really caused by the extended pressure of St. V, but the 5th in the game.
Yeah, good pressure, and it's one of those where you get trapped in the corner. And not only is St. V very quick, but also long arms. And when you have guys like James and Travis, both 6'6", that are able to be on the front end of that press, it really makes it tough to try and throw over it or around it.
James out to Joyce. Drew Joyce between the circles. Bounces it to Cotton. Cotton back out to Joyce, top of the circle. Dribbles with the right hand over to the right side. Inside Cotton, open for the shot, and he banked it in. Overplayed the defense, first 2 for Sheon Cotton. And there's a lead now of 3 for St. V. Back the other way, the ball is going to be knocked out of bounds off the leg of Sin. And back-to-back possessions turned over now by Wayne Trace. St. V trailed 16-12, so they're on a 7-0 run against Wayne Trace. James in the backcourt, covered up there by Sin. Brings it to the timeline, covered up between the circles with the dribble, beats him to into the lane, up for the shot, and he's fouled. And LeBron James will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
You don't see that a lot during the ball game, where James just sort of takes it out high, kind of a 1-4 set, clears out. He did that time against Sin and got inside, and in the middle of the key, Sin didn't really have much, so he prevented the shot, hit him on the arm, and James goes back to the line where he's 1 of 2 and has 9 for the ball game.
First free throw for the All-Ohioan is good. James hits them both at the free throw line. Double figures now for the player of the year with 11. And the ball inbounded. Can they handle the pressure? It's now 21-16. That's the biggest lead for St. V of 5. 9 straight. Sin, top of the circle. Left side, inside it goes on the pass. Up for the shot. Underneath it, laid it up and in. Basket scored there by Mitch McClure. His first 2. It's 21-18. Back the other way. The Irish leading with 5.5 to go till halftime. Samabali into the left corner to Joyce. Joyce with the basketball inside to Cotton. Cotton on the left block. Wheels into the lane against Shepard. Brings it back out now to Joyce. Joyce, the 15-footer. Good. Little Drew drills it. He's got 5. It's 23-18, St. V.
Very nice pump fake by Joyce, who got Denning in the air, was able to get about 3 feet closer.
With the basketball, Hyman. Back out. They work at the McClure, top of the circle now. With the basketball is Gabe Denning. Denning on the right side to Sin. Inside pass stolen away by James. On the breakaway to the basket. He'll dunk it home. LeBron James sends it home with 2 hands. He's got 13, and it's a 7-point Irish lead. Back the other way, up the sideline comes Sin. They've got some numbers. Right to the basket, and a charge will be called. No, they're going to call a block. One official will turn to the other, and I think you're right, Mike. They're going to call the blocking foul on St. V.
Yeah, it's going to be on Drew Joyce. They're going to say he was not set. So Joyce will pick up the personal foul on the 2-on-1 break. And I think they're probably going to, that's the foul on Joyce is his 3rd. 7 Irish team fouls total, but Joyce has 3 of them. So he will probably leave the lineup as we got a wholesale substitutions for St. V. As sitting down will be Travis, Samabali, Cotton. And fresh faces, William McWayne checks in for the first time. Jeremy Johnson back into the lineup. And also back in is Willie McGee as James will sit down.
So at the free throw line, Jake Sin will toe the stripe. Jake with 5 points in the ball game, 2 for 2 at the line, 3 for 3 at the line as he hits the free throw.
Well, St. V, after starting the ball game 5 for 13 after 1 quarter, is now a perfect 5 for 5 from the floor here in the second period.
39 to go here in the first half. Second one is missed, but it's rebounded though by Wayne Trace. Back out it comes with the basketball. Denning guarded tightly, fires it over to Sin. Sin bounces into Shepard. Shepard back out to Sin. Right corner for 3. It's short off the front of the rim, and Taylor the rebound for the Irish. Taylor will bring the ball across the timeline for St. V. Over to McWayne, back out on top now. They work it over into the right corner with the basketball. Out on top now to Taylor. Taylor with the basketball for the Fighting Irish. Gets it into the corner, back out now they come. High post it goes to Johnson. Johnson at the foul line as the ball's on the floor. Hangs on to it to Taylor. Taylor with the pass over now to Brandon Weems into the game. Weems has it on the left side to Taylor. Taylor at the foul line. Underneath to Johnson. Laid it up too hard. Rebounded though inside. Back to Johnson. Laid it up. Missed it. And a whistle and a foul on the inside.
Tell you what, good passing inside by St. V. The first look came from Taylor as Johnson just put it up a little bit too strong. But then a nice rebound by McGee. And he gave Johnson a nice little dish and couldn't finalize. But Wilkie at 2 free throws line right.
Here, of course, winning the state title over Greenview 73-55.
That other state championship team that they had was back in 1984 with another All-Ohioan at Jerome Lane, another guy who was a force primarily on the inside. Also played with a guy named Frank Stams for a while at St. V. Lane, of course, eventually on to Pittsburgh before to the NBA. That was also a very good St. V team. Beat Wheelersburg that year in the finals.
First free throw good by Johnson, hits them both. So Jeremy Johnson moves the St. V lead out to 27-19 with 3:48 to go here in the second quarter. Shepard double team, going to fire it ahead to Deming. Deming with the basketball, top of the circle, stops on the 3-point line. Over on the corner, back out Shepard, fakes it. Back to Denning. Denning over on the left side with the basketball. Davis brings it to the top of the circle. Over now on the right point. Denning up on top to McClure. McClure wheels it now to Davis, fires an arcing 3, no go, and LeBron James gets the big rebound. Dribbles it into the half court, into the lane with the running shot, and he laid it home. James unstoppable now with 15 in the ball game, and there's the biggest lead of 10 and a steal and a whistle on a foul on the inbounds play, and Coach Welch knows he needs a timeout. Timeout at Value City Arena, 3:11 to go in the second quarter. St. V 29, Wayne Trace 19.
6 out of 7 from the floor. They're 4 of 4 from the foul line. They hit their only 3. They have 1 turnover, that's it. They're just playing very good basketball and sort of dominating Wayne Trace at this point. Timely timeout by Al Welch of Wayne Trace. Really needed to sort of try and stop the flow.
And it's a 17-3 run right now for the Irish. Inside the pass goes. Travis puts it up, no good. Johnson gets the rebound though. Out to Taylor, left side 3 is too long. The ball will go out of bounds and there'll be a foul on St. V as they'll whistle this on Romeo Travis. And that will be team foul number 7, so we'll shoot the 1-and-1 for Wayne Trace.
4 semifinals tomorrow.
Scary thing, Mike, not many seniors on this St. V basketball team.
Yeah, when you look down, John, Samabali and John Taylor are the 2 guys who are seniors, along with Lee Cotton. Cotton does not get a lot of playing time, but basically 2 of their top 7 are seniors.
Free throw up and good by Jake Davis. His first point of the game for Wayne Trace. 29-20. St. V's lead is 9. Second free throw, 3 dribbles, eyes it, flips it, and swishes it. 29-21. 2:58 clock running, pressure in the backcourt now by Wayne Trace. St. V Johnson back to Taylor. Count is on. Fires it ahead. Samabali open, drives in and lays it up. Missed it. Rebound his own miss though and fades away. No good, and he's called for walking. The turnover goes back over to Wayne Trace.
Say, well, that's a good job by Chris Shepard for Wayne Trace defensively. 2-on-1, and Samabali had the ball, and he elected to sort of slough off him and put his attention to James, and Samabali missed the layup. Turned out great.
A steal at midcourt by James, and then James is called for double dribble or traveling.
They're going to say double dribble.
Right. As he made that steal, he was not able to put the ball on the floor with one hand, and the turnover goes right back over to Wayne Trace. Little half court or 3/4 court 1-2-2. In the backcourt still, the count is on. Davis breaks the timeline and then has it stolen away. Turnover, but it's stolen right back by Wayne Trace. Trace will run it up the floor. Davis to the basket, banked it up, and good. Jake Davis with 4 quick points. It's 29-23. St. V's lead down to 6. LeBron James, a long air ball from the corner, no good, and rebounded by Wayne Trace. Back the other way, across the timeline, Sin with a pass to Hyman. Hyman brings it back out on top to Denning. Denning backs it off. 2 minutes exactly left here in the first half. Wayne Trace playing down by 6. Up on top, over to Denning. Denning with the basketball, pulls up, 15-footer, no go. Rebound kicked around and taken down by Johnson of St. V. Out to Taylor. Taylor across the timeline. Over to Samabali. Samabali with the basketball out to Taylor. Taylor on the right side now to James. James brings it back out on top of the circle. Samabali with it over to Taylor. 1:30 left here now till halftime. Into the left corner. And I don't think Wayne Trace minds them moving the ball here and taking some time. Lead is only 6 for the #1 team in the state. Out on top, Taylor. Taylor over to James. Back out to Taylor, and it will be over and back into the backcourt. The turnover gives the ball back to Wayne Trace.
St. V being a little bit careless on the floor right now. Couple of turnovers here in a row, and after hitting 6 of their first 7 shots to open up the period, St. V has missed their last 4 from the field and have seen that 10-point lead dwindle just a little bit, now down to a half a dozen.
So from half court, the Raiders of Wayne Trace will bring it in with 1:16 left to go till halftime here on WQKT Worcester. Denning will attack against Taylor. Down by 6 are the Raiders of Wayne Trace High School here in this Division III state semifinal. In the Shepherd, forces it up and in. The big wide body gets his 4th point. Don't look now, it's back to 4, 29-25. Out on top, Cotton to Taylor. Taylor over to James on the left side, back out now to Taylor. Taylor with the basketball over to Joyce, or McWayne. Out to Taylor. Taylor into the corner, there's the jump shot, put up there around no good. Rebound taken down by Denning of Wayne Trace. Across the timeline to the top of the circle. On the left baseline, McClure, the shot no good, and the rebound taken down. Look ahead to James. James straight to the hole for the dunk. The high riser, and he jammed it home at 31-25. With 25 seconds left to play.
Penetration by the Wayne Trace guards, and nobody rotated back defensively, left James wide open for the breakout.
Back outside it comes. Top of the circle over on the left side, it goes to Denning. 13 seconds left here. See if Trace goes for the final shot. 8 seconds up on top for a 3. Denning missed it off the front of the rim. Rebound fought for, tie up, jump ball. It'll stay with Wayne Trace with 4.7.
Tell you what, now you know why Wayne Trace is 24-1. Just a very good basketball team.
Mike.
Really is a good team and do a lot of things well. And they played smart basketball, slowed the tempo down as much as they are comfortable with, and right now we're on pace for a ball game, maybe the upper 50s, low 60s, and that's the kind of pace they wanted.
One of those teams you see come from that part of the state each year in Division III or IV. Going to be a final shot, baseline drive, Sin banked it up, no, but he's fouled with 0.6 of a second left. He'll get to shoot 2 free throws, and if he makes them, Wayne Trace could go to the locker room only down by 4.
Yeah, kind of a bailout that time. St. V had him trapped on the baseline, and Sin did a good job to try and create some contact, and he is 3 for 4 from the line and has 6 first half points.
St. V counting on James more today than you've seen in a while. He has scored 17 of their 31 points and has really carried them here in the first half.
Yeah, he really has. James is 7 out of 10 from the floor here in the first half. The rest of the Irish are 5 for 16.
Yep. First free throws missed, though, and you cannot miss these critical free throws. Jake Sin will now try to split the pair. Free throws up and good. So an inbounds and a heave. No, he's not going to throw it, and that's the end of the first half of basketball here in the Division III state semifinals. A good first half of basketball. The #1 team in the state, St. V, goes to the locker room with a 5-point lead over Wayne Trace, 31-26. Back to the studios of WQKT.
And bump that up to 10, but you got to give Wayne Trace a lot of credit, a lot of resiliency hanging in there and coming right back. John, when you look at it, St. V, obviously LeBron James has come to play. All of his field goals, all 7, have been in the key on penetration. Wayne Trace has got to stop that or he'll keep going to the basket. The key is anybody else for St. V going to help him out? Because right now he's pretty much doing it on his own.
Yep, that's for sure. St. V has the basketball. We might know here in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half if this is going to the wire. Out on top, Taylor. Taylor to Joyce, the 3 from the left side. Oh, this is long, no go. Rebounded though by Samavali in the corner. Back out on top, St. V sets it up again to Joyce. Joyce on the left side into James. James backs in on the left block. Skip pass over on the right side, right corner. Samavali backs it off up on top to Taylor. Taylor with the basketball between the circles. Bounces it inside, it's lost, it goes out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover and back over to Wayne Trace.
And you're right, Wayne Trace, even though they had 9 first half turnovers, did a pretty good job against the pressure. Some of those turnovers, most of them in the half court, and I think only 1 led directly to an Irish hoop.
Denning quickly underneath Drew Joyce, knocks it out of bounds, and that will save a layup basket, but it will stay with Wayne Trace.
When you look at it, points off turnovers officially was only 10-7 in that first half in favor of St. V. So that's a pretty good stat for Wayne Trace hanging with the Irish in that category.
Inside pass to Denning. Denning goes out to the top of the circle now to Sin. Sin over to Denning, fakes the shot. Gabe Denning lobs it into Shepard. Shepard catches, double teamed up for the shot. They're going to call it a block. Blocked away there by Romeo Travis. Back the other way, St. V. Samabali top of the circle over to Taylor. Taylor on the left side up to Travis. Travis 16-footer straight away, back of the rim, no good. Rebound on the floor. Samabali tries to save it, goes out of bounds. It will go back over to Wayne Trace.
Good job by Jake Sin inside, a little bit undersized, but he's got the block out on James and really walled him off so James could not get to the offensive glass.
Wayne Trace trying to get to the fourth quarter with an opportunity. In Shepard, they break the pressure, lob it ahead, they have numbers. Sin loses control and is called for traveling. Just couldn't gather the ball, Mike.
Yeah, you're right. I think he wanted to pass off to his right side, but in the transfer from the dribble to his chest, looked like the ball kind of got stuck on his jersey, and he just couldn't get rid of it. It's a turnover, 2nd of the period for Wayne Trace, 10th of the ball game.
Taylor with the basketball, guarded by Mitch McClure, breaks the timeline here at Value City Arena. Good to have you with us here on WQKT Worcester. We have all the games this week. Inside, James lays it up and in. LeBron James, 2 more in the book for 19. That's the first points of the quarter. It's a 7-point St. V lead. Lob it underneath, lay it up and in. Nice alley-oop. Up for it is Mike Hyman, and he laid it in for his 6th point of the game. Back the other way, Samabali up on top to Taylor. 33-28, St. V's lead is only 5. With 6:14 to go, clock running 3rd quarter. Travis, 16-footer, this one is no good. Goes out of bounds, and it will be Wayne Trace's basketball.
Tell you what, nice job by Wayne Trace. Travis missed that shot a moment ago. They're going to give him the 15-footer and make him prove he could knock it down. Otherwise, they're going to sag off and sort of collapse the middle and concentrate inside on James, who was posted up.
Wayne Trace with the basketball into Sin. Sin almost loses it and does throw it into the back court, and it's almost stolen, but hung on to. A dangerous possession, but Wayne Trace still has the basketball. They don't have it across the timeline, no, and there's going to be a timeout. Good timeout by L. Welch. Wayne Trace takes a timeout. 5:59 to go, 3rd quarter. 33-28, St. V. basketball. The 10-second count restarts again after a timeout good timeout by Coach Welch.
Yeah, and he made that timeout call from the bench, realizing they were going to commit another turnover and a violation. And in high school basketball, you get, you can get timeouts, you can use a few of them up. You get 5, and so not a problem calling one there and saving a turnover at this point in the game.
Across the timeline, the ball's lost out of bounds, but it will stay with Wayne Trace. As St. V trying to notch up the defensive pressure just a little bit, leading by only 5 with 5:51 here in the third quarter. From half court, triggering it in, the Raiders of Wayne Trace High School, 24-1 this year here to the state semifinals. Between the circles, over to Shepard, a 3 from the left side. Good! That was big. Huge shot there by Chris Shepard.
That's only the 4th made 3 for Shepard all year. He's only taken now 6, but he's hit 4 of them.
33-31. They get it to James to pull him out of the fire. Left side backs it down into the paint from about 3 foot, hooks it up and in. Unstoppable. 21 now for James.
Say what, John, in the games we've seen over a year and a half, this is the biggest dominating performance by James. He's not getting much help today.
With the basketball, they're going to bring it over on the left side to Denning. Denning inside to Shepard, blaze it up and in. Good pass from the inside to the outside, then back in. 35-33, 5 minutes to go, third quarter. St. V's lead is only a basket. Taylor bounces at the Joyce. Joyce on the right side, lobs it into Cotton. Cotton on the right block, spins on the baseline, fades away, missed it, rebounded by James again, and he stuck it home. LeBron James with 23, and he is running the whole show right now for the Irish. In the backcourt, the clock is on, the time is on. They're going to have to use another timeout. They had to call a timeout to get the clock stopped. It will take a quick one. 4:35 to go, third quarter. St. V leads Wayne Trace by 4.
Timeout, Wayne Trace, a 30-second timeout.
Carrying his ball club. Mike, most people think, well, he does this every week, every game, but that's not the case.
No, it's really not. But it's nice to have the ability to have someone on the floor who can do that when your teammates pick you up. Great teams normally have at least one great player, and St. V has that. And, sometimes you got to rely on the best to pull you through some tough stretches.
Davis in trouble on the corner. He's double teamed, and he stepped out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover, and it goes back over to St. V. And the pressure beginning to take a toll. That's 12 turnovers now on the Raiders of Wayne Trace. Got to keep it off the sideline. Taylor on the attack for St. V. Across the timeline with the left-hand dribble. Angle dribble to the left wing. Brings it back out now between the circles to Joyce. Joyce on the left point. The ball stolen away from him, and it stays, though, with Wayne Trace.
Lucky to get it back is St. V. Joyce tried to bounce it into James, and it was not a good, strong bounce pass. And Wayne Trace doubling back. That's a good move defensively by Mike Hyman, who nearly got the deflection and steal.
Samabali into the lane, pulls up. The 8-footer has it blocked and taken away by Wayne Trace. Quickly, they're going to run. Denning doesn't have any numbers, stops it on the left point. Brings it back out now and hands it off and gets it back now between the circles against the man-to-man. Over to Shepard. Shepard against Samabali. Over up on top now on the pass. It comes to Sin. Sin right side, Denning into Shepard. Shepard baseline right. Outside for the 3. Doesn't take the shot, Davis. Into the left corner to McClure. Back out now between the circles to Denning. Gabe Denning covered there by Taylor. Left side or right side with the basketball. 3:37 left here in the third quarter. Long 3 launched, going to be off, no good from the right side, and the rebound taken down by Taylor of St. V. Into the forecourt, between the circles, over to James. James backing it in on the elbow, now to the baseline, over to Joyce. Joyce up on top. Samabali to Taylor, over to James. James, a jump step into the lane, put it up, no, and they're going to have a foul on the drive, and it'll be 2 shots coming for James.
To tell you the truth, John, other than James, everyone else kind of looks a little bit tentative for St. V in forcing up their shots. We mentioned James is at 10 out of 13 now from the floor today. The rest of his teammates are 5 for 21. Samabali's 1 of 6. Taylor's missed his only 2 shots. Travis is 1 of 4. So, and obviously you look at James, he hasn't hit anything outside. He's trying to get to the basket today, and because of his size advantage, he's been able to do that as he knocks down the first of 2 free throws. Everything for James, 10 field goals, all of them have been in the paint area.
First free throw up and good. He has 24. And Mayball Ford of Oroville would like to recognize all the area players for their hard work, dedication, and sportsmanship this. Thank Mayball Ford first. Going for his 25th point. It's up and good. for LeBron James. 39-33 St. V.
James has all 8 St. V points here in the third period.
Across the timeline, the pressure continuing, but handled well by Wayne Trace. Out between the circles, in trouble. Davis gets it over now to Hyman. Hyman on the left side, doubled up into Shepard, and Shepard has it stolen away by James. James into the forecourt, top of the circle, all the way to the basket, laid it up and good, but it will not count. They'll call him for traveling.
That's a really tough call. Official had a good view of it on the floor. James with those long loping steps. I'm going to say he hop skipped to get to his left hand. Really nice finish, but nonetheless a turnover on the break. And the nice thing about it for James, only the second turnover for him today as much as he has handled the basketball.
He doesn't get that call like a guy that used to wear number 23. Across the timeline on the pass, into the lane, pull up 8-footer, no. And we have another foul. This is a foul called on the drive against Germany Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson got a little bit of the wrist on the shot on the way up of Jake Sin. So Sin's going to get a couple of free throws. He's been to the line a lot this afternoon, 6 times, hit 4 of them, and has 7 points for Wayne Trace.
At the free throw line, Sin. 7 points in the ball game. Free throw up and good. Make it 8. He's now 5 for 7 at the free throw line. 39-34 St. V by 5, and any team in the state would take that heading late into the third quarter against the Fighting Irish. Second free throw way short. Rebound kicked around out near the foul line, and a whistle. They're going to get a foul called on Wayne Trace's Jake Sin.
Yeah, loose ball foul, trying to go for the recovery, so Sin picks up his second. You know, it's a close ball game, and obviously Wayne Trace knows they're in this game. And like most of the teams that are in this tournament, they played a lot of close games. You look at their tournament games, their district wins were by 2, by 5, won the regional final by 9. That was close down the stretch. So this is a ball club that is used to playing tight games in this tournament. St. V obviously has not played as many close games because of their blowout wins, but they have had a few. Most of those were out of state. Beat the team from Detroit by 5 early in the season. We mentioned a 1-point loss to Oak Hill. Other than that, they've only had 1 game all year that's been inside of double figures outside of their loss. That was an 8-point win over Buchtel.
James into the lane, the shot, no, missed it, tip no, gets a rebound again, followed it up, and no, and rebounded by Shepard of Wayne Trace. 3 cracks, it wouldn't fall, and Wayne Trace with the basketball. Across the timeline, Denning. Denning with the pass over on the left side to Mitch McClure. Back out to Denning. 2:15 to go here in the third quarter. Wayne Trace down 39-34. Up between the circles with the pass to Jake Davis. Davis has the basketball against Joyce. Over to McClure. McClure on the right side. Up on top now to Denning. Denning doing a good job of quarterbacking the ball club here for Coach Al Welch. Inside Shepard, right block, fakes it against Johnson, brings it back out now to McClure. Back in now to Shepard, into the lane, fires it into the left corner. Denning left-handed 3, good! Gabe Denning with a huge 3. It's 39-37. St. V's lead only 2.
Perfect way to attack a defense, kick it in, back outside. Shepard doing a good job on the post. Knows he didn't have a good move to the hoop, so he kept moving the basketball around and found Denning wide open for his second 3 of the ball game.
In the backcourt, Cotton, 2-2-1 3-quarter trap now by Wayne Trace. Lob it to Joyce. Joyce across the timeline to Cotton. Cotton left side, way out now to Taylor. Right corner now to James. Skip pass to Joyce on the left wing. Inside pass, a poor one, and Shepard makes the steal but can't gather the basketball. It'll stay with St. V with 1:28 left in the third quarter. Game against Miami East, an overtime winner earlier today against Belpre, 61-57. Cotton backs it off against the zone defense played by Wayne Trace to James. James back out now to Cotton. Cotton keeps his dribble to Joyce. Joyce on the left wing. Over into the right corner baseline. Driving is James. Laid it up and good. LeBron James now with 27 points in the game. It's 41-37. Back to a 4-point St. V lead. Shepard on the right side, hands it back now to Davis. Davis double teamed, in trouble, and a whistle and a foul on St. V's Sheon Cotton.
One of those where Cotton and Taylor had a good double team. You really didn't need to reach in and try and grab the basketball because the count was on. Cotton will pick up his second personal, and for the Irish, also their second here in the period.
54 seconds left here in the third quarter. Wayne Trace trying to take this thing to the wire if possible. Between the circles, Over to Davis, back out to Denning. Denning with the basketball, with the pass over now to Mitch McClure. McClure on the left side, 41 seconds left now to play here in the third quarter. Wayne Trace down by 4, 41-37. Denning, right side now to McClure. McClure on the hash mark. Out between the circles it goes to McClure. McClure with the pass, gets the return pass now out near center circle. Looks like they may go for the final shot of this third quarter, down by 4. 20 seconds now left to play here in the third quarter. Way out front, still with the dribble is Denning. Denning will pitch it over inside to pass to Shepard. Shepard against Cotton, collision, and it goes out of bounds, and they'll call it just an out-of-bounds play off the hand of Shepard and back to St. V.
Usually with a lot of contact like that, you're going to see a block or a charge, but the official just said play on, and when Shepard collided with Cotton, the ball rolled free and right out of bounds. So it's a turnover, the 14th on Wayne Trace, and the Irish can look to extend the lead here in the final seconds of the third quarter.
So bringing it full court with only 11 seconds to go here in the third quarter come the Irish. Taylor up to James. James gets into the lane, brings it back out to the three-point line. 4 seconds left, top of the circle. Over to Taylor, fires a three from the right corner. Off the rim, no good, and that's the end of the third quarter of basketball. After 3 quarters in this state semifinal, St. V 41, Wayne Trace 37.
And 9 of 12 shooting from the line. I think if you would ask Wayne Trace, down 4 going into the final period, have a shot, they'd like that odds.
You better believe it, Mike, and here we go. Wayne Trace trying to pull the upset on the right side with the basketball up on top. Now it goes to Davis. Davis over to Denning. Denning on the left side puts it on the floor against Taylor. Now to Sin. Sin has it at the top of the circle. Over to Denning. Denning on the left side brings it back out. So against the man-to-man played by St. V. Down by 4 points. Their largest deficit has been 10. Out front with the basketball, they swing it over on the left side. Faking the shot is Denning. Denning brings it back out now between the circles. Over now on the pass, it comes to Hyman. Hyman with the basketball, pitches it out now to Sin. Sin between the rings here at Value City Arena. The Schottenstein Center right down the lane, lays it up and in. Beautiful drive by Sin. And it's his 10th point. It's 41-39.
Very nice body control to get inside, avoid the block.
James baseline left, jumper no good, but he'll get his own rebound. It came right back to him. He shoots it again. This is no good, and it's rebounded by Wayne Trace, trying to make him shoot from the perimeter. And back the other way, Wayne Trace could tie or take the lead with a home run ball. Sin on the left side with the basketball up on top. Between the circles, to Davis. Davis over to Denning. Denning on the right sideline. Back out front. Steal by James. Look out. Straight to the basket for the... Hammered it home with the...
That's a windmill special right there.
That's called the windmill, and you can't let that change the score other than the 2 points, Mike.
Yeah, you're right.
That's hard to say.
It's still a basket, but we don't see that every weekend. That was a big-time jam, and it's what St. V needed. They got to try and stem some of the momentum that right now, even though Wayne Trace is down by 2 baskets, their fans kind of feel like they're ahead because of the way they played this afternoon.
If Wayne Trace can handle the basketball this final 6.5, they could be in it down the stretch. They're down by 4. Still in the backcourt, they need help. Sin to Shepard. Shepard, there's that three again. Good! Where did he come from with that shot?
Shepard has 12 in the ball game. He had only taken 5 3-pointers all year, but he's 2 for 2 today.
Back into the 2-3 zone. 43-42. St. V's lead is only 1. James out front with the basketball. He has 27 points in this game. Samabali over to Drew Joyce to James. They want him with the basketball. Samabali with the basketball to the left baseline. Out to Travis, almost walked, and it goes up, missed it. Rebounded by Cotton on the inside, followed it up and in. Big job by Sheon Cotton for his 4th point. 45-42, St. V's lead back to 3. Across the timeline, Denning with the dribble, breaks the pressure. 5:40 to go here in the ball game in regulation. Shepard another 3, no good. Rebounded though by Wayne Trace. They hang on to it. Sin left side 3, no good. Rebounded underneath though by St. V. To Joyce. Joyce will run across the timeline. Over on the left wing with the basketball, he'll back it outside between the circles. 5:20 in the clock running, and St. V trying for their shot into the state title game Saturday against Miami East. 2-3 zone at the foul line stands James. Over to Samavali with it to James. James, nice pass inside, up for the shot, no. But there's a whistle and 2 shots upcoming for the Irish.
Tell you what, that's why James is such a good player. Had a wide open 15-footer. Some coaches might say that's overpassing, but he elected to drop it down low quickly, and Sheon Cotton was fouled by Davis, and Cotton will get a couple of free throws line left.
Your financial security deserves the attention of a full 7788. Stocks, corporate bonds, and tax advantage investments. Contact Tom Brenner. And good, and then there's a timeout. We'll take a break. 5:05 to go in regulation. 46-42. St. V by 4.
As we mentioned, 64%. They've hit 9 of their 12 free throws.
St. V again moving their opponent up to near that 20 turnover mark. It's 15 turnovers right now. Second free throw no good. Rebounded by Shepard. For Denning. Denning double teamed in the backcourt. Needs some help. Fires it ahead. Davis dribbles into the forecourt. Down on the baseline with the basketball. Laying it up on a reverse. Beautiful shot by Hyman. It's 46-44.
I'll tell you what, it was first off a great catch on the break, and then a pretty reverse, and used the English as he went from the left side to the right.
Wayne Trace in the zone, trying to get the ball back down by 2. 4:40 to go. Joyce, right side with the basketball. Backs it off. On the zone against the Wayne Trace Raiders. Samavali has been quiet. Over to Joyce, fires the 3. There it is! Drew Joyce hammers it home for 3. It's 49-44.
That's a huge basket. Someone for St. V had to step up.
Numbers, Denning, long 3, left side, good! Wide open, and the lefty drilled it. 49-47.
Yeah, John, as usually this happens when you get a big underdog and they hang around late, most of the crowd here, which was neutral maybe an hour ago, going to start shifting toward Wayne Trace, wanting the upset.
Real big-time shift. James with the basketball for the Irish. Brings it over to Samavali. There's the 3, partially blocked and taken down. They've got numbers that they can fire it ahead. They're going to fire it ahead and caught. Back inside it goes. Back outside to Davis. Davis into the corner to Hyman. Hyman dribbles it out on top to Denning. Denning with the basketball. Coach Al Welch wants him to run the offense. 3:35 to go here in this basketball game. They could take the lead. Wayne Trace with this possession. They're down by 2. Dribbling to the top of the circle. Bounce over. Almost stolen by James. Back out on top. Doesn't take the shots in. Over now to Davis. Davis baseline right. Double team. The ball kicked into the corner. Fought for and stolen away finally by St. V. They dig it out ahead to Joyce. Joyce top of the circle. Brings it back out now with 3:10 to go in regulation. James has it in the left corner. Against the zone. Dribbles it back out now. Covered up. Backs it off. Over now to Samavali. Over now to Joyce. Joyce with the basketball. Brings it back out front. 2:55 and the clock running. Coach Keith Ambrock says back it off against this zone. Let the clock run. We're ahead by 2.
Yeah, and that's what St. V is doing. St. V really, they've made 3 3-pointers today, 3 of 13. Everything else has been inside. They've not had the shooting looks knocked down from the perimeter.
Joyce with it to Travis. Back out now to Joyce. The foul situation, inside it goes. Nice pass inside, and Travis laid it in. 51-47, a big basket. It's a 4-point lead now for the Irish. Ahead on the pass, it goes to Sin. Sin on the left side with the basketball up on top to Denning. Denning with the basketball over a 3. Davis, it's in the air. In and out, no good. Shepard gets the big rebound, though, for Wayne Trace, and he's fouled. But that's only the 3rd team foul on St. V.
It's also a rare offensive rebound for Wayne Trace. Only their 4th offensive rebound of the day, but it came at a big time for Shepard because it lets the possession continue. John Taylor, who's been on the bench for a while for St. Vincent St. Mary, checks back in for Joyce. Joyce has to leave. That's his 4th personal foul. And he's the 2nd leading scorer for St. V today with 8, including 2 threes.
That shot was halfway down and it bounced back out. Triggering from his own end zone is Sin. He's going to fire it way down the floor. Back into the backcourt, caught there by Jake Davis. Davis will bring it across the timeline, beats Samavali to the right side. Brings it back out now to Denning. Denning with the basketball, 2:04 to go in this 4th quarter. Right side, Davis. Davis hounded very tightly there by Samabali. Keeps his dribble, brings it back out now to Denning. Denning with the basketball. St. V leading by 4. With it is Denning, double team, needs some help. Gets it back out now between the circles to Sim. And now Welch wanting to get this thing down as close to zeros as possible. With the basketball to the baseline, into the corner. Right side, back out on top it comes. On the right side is Denning. Denning with it into Shepard. Shepard back outside. Davis doesn't take it into Shepard against Cotton. On the baseline, back out Denning. Into the right corner, or left corner, driving to baseline. Up for the shot. No! They're going to call the foul on St. V on the drive, and they're going to say a shooting foul to boot. You need to rent a car for a day.
Number 34, Sheon Cotton, his second, the team's 4th.
The team foul situation, both teams have a lot to give. That can really help you or really hurt you down the stretch. Wayne Trace has only committed 3 team fouls this half, so they got 3 to give. St. Vincent St. Mary has 2 to give, and we're getting down into a close ball game here in the final minute and a half. Something to kind of watch here over the last 125.
Don't you get the feeling, though, Mike, if this is a 2-point ball game, Al Welch of Wayne Trace will let St. V run it down as far as he can get the triple zeros if it's a 2-point game. I don't think they'd come out and foul with like 50 seconds.
I don't think so, but you don't have to commit 3 fouls in the last 20 seconds in order to get the basketball back.
You do have a lot to give.
And if you're down 4 like they are right now, that's going to waste all the time trying to get the basketball back.
Free throw up and good. The fewest fouls we've seen in a state tournament beginning in a long time. The first game had hardly any fouls called.
Sin has 11 for the ball game as he makes the first of 2.
Here's a big one to make it a 2-point game. Front of the rim, missed it. And James got the rebound for St. V. So the Irish have the ball, leading by 3 with 1:20 to go in the ball game. James across the timeline, covered up. Gonna lob it over to Samabali on the left side, back out to James. Again, 3 fouls to give for Wayne Trace, so they're going to have to foul, and that's what Coach Welch is saying, Mike.
Yeah, with 1 minute to go, you better start committing those fouls right now.
James beats his defender back out to Taylor. Taylor to Samabali, almost lost it into the backcourt, back to Taylor. Taylor with the basketball under 1 minute now, 55 seconds left. Samabali has the basketball. With it is Taylor. Taylor out front, holding on to it. They're going to have to foul now because they've only fouled 3 times. And there's the 4th one for the team right there.
Tell you what, took a lot of time off the clock. Took 30 seconds off the clock to commit that foul. Now you still have 2 more to give. A quick steal obviously is what you want, but at this point it doesn't matter. You got to grab somebody if you don't get it. Both teams still have plenty of timeouts remaining should they need them, and the arrow does give it to St. V if we have a tie-up.
So Ohio's Player of the Year, LeBron James, will bring it in from the left sideline. Count is on, gets it into Taylor. Taylor with it, and he's fouled quickly. That's what they wanted that time. That'll be team foul number 5 now, so 1 more to give with 43.8 left.
When you look at the free throw shooters for St. Vincent St. Mary, James is 71%, but he's 5 of 6 today. Probably a good guy you want down the stretch. Drew Joyce is 74%. He's on the bench. Everyone else is below 70.
So inside to pass to Samabali, and he's fouled quickly. And that'll be another foul, so that will mean the next one will go to the bonus. And whom to foul is the question.
Well, that was done very well. 3 fouls, you pick them up in a matter of basically 4 seconds. So now you have the opportunity, if you want to play defense for 10 seconds or no, try and get a steal, you can do that.
3-point ball game. St. V leads. They bring it in, and there's a quick foul. Cotton was the man they wanted to foul, so Sheon Cotton will go to the free throw line to shoot the 1-and-1.
Yeah, 47% for the season for Cotton. He was 1 of 2 today, and that was earlier here in this 4th quarter. He has 5 points, and front end of the 1-and-1 is big. Miss or make, regardless of what happens. Wayne Trace still with a lot of time. Doesn't need the quick 3, but as we've seen today, they've shown the ability to knock home a few. They're 6 of 14 on 3s.
Cotton will shoot the 1-and-1. Cotton 1 for 2 today at the free throw line, 5 points. Dribbles again, flips it, and front of the rim, and got the right kind roll. It fell in. And when you make one like that, Mike, you sometimes feel that next one's a little easier to shoot.
Yeah, you're right. That hit the front of the rim, but soft enough touch to hit the glass and get the roll in. As Sin checks back into lineup, Jake Sin. And sitting down will be McClure for Wayne Trace. We'll see what Al Welch decides to do down a 2-possession ball game now, whether they try and get the quick 2, or obviously if they get a wide open 3, they won't be shy about launching.
52-48, St. V by 4. Cotton to try to make it by 5 with 41.3 left. Free throw, no, off the rim, but James goes for the rebound. It's fought for and taken down by Wayne Trace. With it is Denning in the backcourt. Denning will bring it across the timeline. Fires it over on the left side. Wanting the three, not taking it, back out to Denning. 28 seconds left in the game. Driving into the lane, and that'll be a foul on St. V, but that's only the 5th foul on the Irish.
Yeah, they had a couple of giveaways we mentioned, and not a bad foul there. It wasn't a shooting foul. Denning was trying to drive in and penetrate and free open a guy on the wing. And are they going to say that, oh goodness, they're giving him 2 shots, and I think that's quite a surprise because Denning was obviously trying to pass the basketball there. So that's a big, big break for Wayne Trace, getting Denning at the line with a clock stopped.
That's big with a capital B.
Keith Dambrot is really beside himself on the St. Vincent St. Mary bench.
And the one official had to come over and double check. He thought it was a non-shooting foul, but it's 2 shots for Denning, the left-hander, and he put it in. 52-49, 27 seconds left. St. V's lead is down to 3, and it could be down to 2. That foul right there, a shooting foul, is huge at 27 seconds. Second free throw, line driver, it fell home. 52-50. St. V brings it in full court, protecting a 2-point lead. They get it into Samabali, he's fouled, and no, St. V calls a quick timeout. There's a timeout. We'll take a quick break. 25 seconds left to go in the game. 52-50. St. V's lead is only 2 points. We're back here at Value City Arena. 2 huge free throws when a lot of people thought it was going to be bringing the ball inbounds. And boy, it changes the game completely, Mike.
Well, now Drew Joyce back into the lineup. Keith Dambrot gets one of his better free throw shooters out on the floor. And obviously Wayne Trace is going to make St. V hit some foul shots down the stretch if they can win it. If they don't get the quick steal, Cotton inbounds because he's not a good foul shooter. And obviously you look to get the ball probably, so I would think Joyce and James. But Joyce is a target because he can be doubled at only 5'5".
Cotton will trigger it in from 3/4 court, gets it into Joyce. Joyce with the basketball, loses the ball, and it's going to be laid up. No, fought for and taken down by St. V. There's a whistle and a foul. They got the steal. Wayne Trace now with 18 seconds left, but they could not get the foul underneath. A good block, and now free throws for the Irish.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to credit LeBron James because he was the guy that went flying at Denning and made him alter his shot. Denning saw James out of the corner of his eye, and I think if he puts it up straight away from the left side, James probably blocks it, so Denning altered it, threw it up higher than he normally would have. It came up short, and in the scramble for the rebound, the ball rolled right back to Joyce, the guy who committed that turnover to start the possession.
That was so close to a tie game, and there's going to be a timeout. We'll take a break. 18 seconds left from Value City Arena. St. V 52, Wayne Trace 50.
St. Vincent St. Mary 24, Romeo Travis replaces Sheehan.
Back here at Value City Arena, the game reset. Possession arrow belongs to St. V. Each team is not in the 1-and-1. St. V, Mike, still has a foul to give, and that can be huge with 18 seconds left.
Drew Joyce at the line, 1-and-1 for him. His first free throw of the day. Joyce on the season, a 74%er. Needs 2 to bump it up to 4.
2 could make it a 4-point lead. Line left. The 5'5", right hand, nothing but net. He swished it.
And Joyce, you have to credit him. He has 9. LeBron James 29. That's basically the scoring today for St. Vincent St. Mary.
That has been it. 53-50. This makes it that 4-point ball game. Drew Joyce dribbles, bends, fires. Good. Nothing but net on both of them. And a timeout called by St. V. 18 seconds left. The Irish's lead now 54-50.
Timeout St. Vincent St. Mary, 30 seconds.
I'll tell you, Mike, with over 14,000 watching, hit nothing but net.
Yeah, 2 big free throws. And now St. V's also going to put pressure on full court, up 4. And as we mentioned, they have 1 foul to give, John. So you can let Wayne Trace dribble for 3 or 4 seconds, foul him before they get to the basket, make him inbound again.
That's going to be real tough now for Wayne Trace. Shepard in the backcourt needs some help. Gets it back now to Sin. Sin going to run up to the timeline. Samabali tightly guarding him and is going to pick up the foul. But as you said, Mike, that is only team foul number 6.
Yeah, that's not a bad foul because it was way out on the floor. And basically, you waste 7 seconds of clock time. Wayne Trace inbounded into their center, and that's Shepard, and he didn't want to dribble up the floor, so that cost them a couple of seconds. If you can get it quick, too, Wayne Trace still has the ability to stop the clock. One more timeout remaining for them.
They need a very quick score with 11 seconds. Sin will trigger, get it into Shepard. Shepard with the basketball. He's got to hurry. Gets it over now. Davis or Lenning forces a 3, no good. Tip, no good. Rebound and knocked out of bounds. They're going to call the foul on Wayne Trace, and with only 3.4 seconds left, it looks like the Irish are going to escape with a narrow victory here and move into the state championship game and go for their 2nd state championship in a row and the 3rd in their school history.
Yeah, you're right. It's one of those where, you know, you look at the St. V bench, there's not a lot of jubilation over there.
Relief.
Yeah, you're right. Relief is a great word for it. They were in a battle from the very start today. Wayne Trace led it by 2 after 1. They down 5 at halftime, but closed that to 4 after 3 quarters, and never were able to get the lead after that first quarter, but they were right there all the way down the stretch. St. V hit some big free throws as Taylor knocks home another one.
Taylor hits the first one. That's only the first point of the game for John Taylor. 1 for 1 at the free throw line. Free throw, good. Got them both. It's 56-50. 3 seconds left, just running out the clock now. Going up and shooting the long 30-footer. No good, and that's the end of the game. A valiant effort by Wayne Trace, but a big, big win for St. V as they'll go into the state championship game. They win it 56-50 over Wayne Trace. We'll be back. Brett will get into